the thing that people are craving, and this is why the relationship and the referral side is getting so big right now, is that if you take the time to get to know somebody, learn what their goals are, and then help them achieve their goals, they will naturally move towards you. Care and concern for people's needs is one of the number one things that people are attracted to.
Welcome back, everyone, to Life at 10 Cents, where we inspire you to live at the pinnacle of your ability and purpose. I'm Matt, he's Garrett, and we are in Charlotte with Dickens Mitchener. Amazing. We are so excited to be here celebrating your awards with y'all today, and we're going to have a great conversation here, great podcast. So for those of you watching and listening, you're going to get some really great insight. We're going to dive into some relationships and other stuff. There's some questions that we're going to be addressing here as kind of how we do these formats of these live audience podcast recordings. Garrett.
Yeah, I would jump in here first off, and I said it when we first started our session today, is that the level that this room is at, the level of people that kept walking in, there's certain people that when you watch them walk in, you're like, yeah, they got their stuff together. I said it over and over to Matt as everybody was walking in, and this is an incredible company. You guys are an incredible group of people. It's been really fun this morning getting to know you, and to do a live podcast here. Matt and I love podcasting. This is one of our most favorite things we get to do. We've been doing it for 7 years now? 7. We'll stick 7.
Math is hard to
it's an amazing time. And when we get a chance to do these live and we get to sharing questions and sharing the experience with all of you and bring you into our world, it's a really fun time. So I'm excited to see where we go today. And we kind of have some rough topics we've kind of thrown around, things that we've seen through conversations with people. And how do you want to get going here?
Yeah, I think, so we have a microphone here for anybody who wants to come up and ask a question. And so you can raise your hand, come on up, and I think we're excited to dive into, because y'all are built a lot on relationships here, and that's something that we love to talk about. And so let's kick it off with our first question.
Yeah, jump in.
Okay, first question. I'm Catherine Pappas. I'm a relocation director at Dickens Mitchener, and I've been here at CALM. And I handle all the referrals coming in and out of the company.
Yeah.
So my question is, I know y'all have coached a lot of really talented people, and I always like takeaways when I leave any kind of a talk or a panel or a conference. And one of my takeaways from you guys this morning from the great talk that we had was, everybody says have gratitudes in the morning, in your morning ritual. Everybody said that. But today was the first time I heard share a gratitude. And that was one of my biggest takeaways. So could y'all maybe share with us one or two other good takeaways that you've gotten feedback from great agents that you have coached, things that they have shared with you that would be helpful to our audience?
Yeah, can I go right into, I want to stick on gratitudes here for a second. So are you okay with that?
Sure.
So I want to just give a tip that I've learned for many years about gratitudes. And gratitudes, it's an interesting, tricky slope. You got to be very careful. It's going to be slippery and tricky at the same time. Yeah. What's an interesting thing is a lot of times people will give a gratitude and then they will follow it up with, oh gosh, I'm so thankful for my health because my family members have all been sick. We've had the flu going through our house. We've had all this stuff. And it's like, whoa, just stop with your health. Just be right there. And so I want to encourage all of you, as you take that takeaway away from this morning's talk, always just say just the gratitude, just what you're grateful for right now. And it was so cool when we did that, because we watched the energy come up from all of you, which was the shared side of it. And I was going to ask when we were there, was like, because we were running out of time, what was a great gratitude that you heard that raised your energy? And that's why it's so powerful to share those.
Just telling somebody how grateful you are for them and an accomplishment that they did, it put everybody in a better mood immediately.
Yes, so that was part of your question. The bigger question is, what else? So, we talk about gratitude, but we also, I think, when I look at agents that are really showing up in our industry and they're really showing up to be the best they can be, I will say one thing that I watch is their communication with other real estate agents. I think sometimes in real estate, we kind of are on our lone ship. We're kind of doing our own thing. We are a breed of people that we like control, We like being able to do what we want to do. But we also at the same time have a managing broker. So we still like a little bit of somebody in our world that's kind of watching over us. But for the most part, we're doing this on our own. So some of the top agents that I have found, they actually take time out of every single day, definitely every single week, to reach out to other agents, not only in their office. It's one thing to get your office group here, but to reach out to other agents that are in other offices and start to build relationships. I had a gentleman, Nate Bowie, that I used to work with, that a good friend of mine, and his whole thing was 5 agents a day. It was a lot, but his whole thing was, that's my goal. 5 agents a day. What do they got? What are they doing? What's happening? What are new buyers that just entered their world? What are sellers that they currently have right now sitting in the background? And he would just built this incredible relationships with these people that all of a sudden he's putting deals together all over the place. And people are going, how did you find that transaction? How did you do that? He's like, well, I talked to so-and-so, and then I was talking to this person over here, and they needed somebody over here, and I referred them back over to this agent. And he just became this incredible, trusted person in the industry, in his office, but also outside of his office. And I have coached many people on, like, don't let that slip by. Don't overthink it, and don't go like, oh, we don't want to support other offices. Like, just raise the whole level of the industry. So that's been a big one for me.
And that works for relocation too, right? Connecting with agents that are in different regions. You know, what are the feeder markets for Charlotte, right? What are the industries here that exist elsewhere? Connecting with those agents. If any of you are going to Leading RE coming up very soon, right? You got to connect with a lot of people who are in your network, which is wonderful. And I'd say another takeaway that I have from top agents is being authentically yourself, right? A lot of times we look at agents, we see what they're posting on social media, and they're like, oh, I want to be like that. Social media is 100% curated, whether it's good or bad or even seemingly real. It is all curated because someone made the choice to put that on there and making sure they got the right filter, they got the right text, they got the right maybe music behind it. Even if that still is who they are, it is curated. And the best agents that we see performing in alignment, to kind of go along with what our talk was, are agents that are just being true to themselves. They're not afraid to let their personality come through. We had dinner last night with 2 agents that Garrett and I have been working with for a long time. Garrett even longer with Jess. And those are 2 people who are not afraid to be who they are. And it's really cool to see how their businesses have grown as we've been able to work with them, and just kind of giving, sometimes you need that permission to just say, hey, be you. Like, whatever it is that you are, be you. You don't have to suppress that to see success, because if you're trying to be everything for everyone, then you're going to be nothing for no one. Whereas if you're specific in who you are, you're going to attract those people, and they're going to want to work with you, because that's one element of trust. Trust is a big part of this business. And if somebody can know who you are, it's a lot easier to trust you than just kind of know what you look like, so to speak.
Well, and Matt, to back up on that, as I was mentioning, like, I've never seen a better referral relationship marketplace. And that whole statement of be you, be true to who you are, it's really important when your business is relationship and referrals, is because there's a little wave going on out here right now that the lines of being a professional and being, what is the term, Matt? Viral. The lines between being viral and being professional are being blurred, and a lot of times it makes us have to stop and go, I'm supposed to do that if I'm going to be a professional real estate agent nowadays. And I would encourage all of you, especially if you're building a referral relationship business, don't do things out of alignment with you and who you are. And you can still be you and do that stuff. But the minute we start to follow trends and things like that, you're now trying to compete with a viral world out there, and your friends will see through it. Your friends will look at you and go, something's off. Like, that's not exactly the person that I've trusted my people with forever. And it's one of those things you have to be very careful in today's world, especially as I'm going to say it 1,000 times, which is never seen a better referral relationship marketplace ever.
Yeah, doesn't mean that you shouldn't be afraid to try things. You can still try new things, but do it in your way. I mentioned in our talk, the first video that I ever did, that was new for me. It was new, and it wasn't trying to be like, hey, Matt's trying to be somebody else. It was just, hey, how do I try to do this thing in my way and be authentically who I am? And you learn along that journey. And so be open to learning about that process, about discovering who you are too, because we're all trying to become the new version of ourselves, and that's a wonderful thing, as long as it's in alignment with our mission and vision, right? Which is great. Yeah. Another question, anybody else?
Are you willing to come on up? Ha ha!
Awesome.
For everybody's listening on the podcast right now, we really have put these people on the spot. They have no idea what they're getting into.
Marcy Boswell-Wallow with Dickens Mitchener. I love what I do. Most of y'all know that I'm full of gratitude and wired pretty happy, and love my clients, so that's not an issue. My mission statement, though, is to find a wife, because my husband works like a billion hours and we have 4 kids. So I minus that happening when you've got so many personal demands and your life is still, somebody still has to do the laundry, walk the dog, do all the cooking and cleaning, and service all your clients. I mean, I'm winding down. I'm coming, I know my life isn't always going to be at the height of this busyness, but when I look at the list of things that you're supposed to be doing to elevate your business, I know at some point I will have time to do that, but right now I just run out of time. So what's one thing for somebody who's like super, super busy, we're all super busy, but that you would recommend that's going to be a big game changer?
It's a great question. And you had mentioned, by the way, kudos to you for doing all that stuff. Can we give Lucy a ride?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is everyone's life, right? You have life and you have real estate, and we want to try to harmonize the two together. You mentioned you have a list of things you're supposed to do, right? Forget that supposed to, right? What are you going to do, right? Find that one thing, which ultimately is probably going to center around, like from a business standpoint, something around conversations, right? How old are your kids?
17, 19, 21, 22.
Okay. You're getting to a point where it's like, I'm going to get...
I am winding down.
Yeah, but there's still a lot. I mean, as Garrett knows.
It doesn't stop, by the way. My wife said the other, she goes, weren't we supposed to be having to handle them less and do less? It doesn't change.
I think if you can be where you are, wherever that is at any point in the day, is be there, right? That's the first thing. And focus on how can I have conversations where I am right now? Mm-hmm. That's going to be the business thing. On the life thing, I would look at how do I really want to optimize this stuff? Are there things that you're doing in your life that like, I don't like doing laundry? How do we optimize this? How do we get rid of this? Right? And who loves doing laundry? Right? Yeah, and that takes work, right? And I think the misconception that exists in any industry is like, hey, there's some silver bullet, there's some secret answer that's going to help me do less. And there isn't. But if you're in alignment, you can do a lot of things that are hard and still get through. And I think part of it is acknowledging, where you are and what your capacity is. We have several agents that are, raising kids and they're like, I got 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day to work. How do I optimize this? And all right, maybe we're not going to do $1 million this year, or maybe we are. Let's forget about what the results are going to look like and focus on what can we input into our business in those 2 to 3 hours, and focus on what is the most important thing to do. Not the most urgent thing, the most important thing, because we can typically offload some urgent stuff, or even just let it go and it takes care of itself. One of my rules as a managing broker, when agents would text me or call me, I would never answer, which sounds really strange, right? 30 minutes later, there'd be a follow-up text.
They're all like, we hate that.
But they figure it out, right? People sometimes figure it out. So don't let the urgent interrupt your important. Focus on the important things, which is probably for you is going to be some form of conversation, and let everything else happen. And it's going to be a little chaotic for a little bit, but you'll get through it, and it'll be fun.
I will add in, I think that one thing that we don't always do, and this comes to planning ahead, looking at our schedules, looking at the week, and putting it all together into a plan that's going to work. Batching is not always something that we really strive to get good at. And when you have lots of priorities and lots of different things, the best thing is to be 100% present in those moments that you're going to be in. So if it's time with the kids, being at practice, doing something like that, be 100% there with them. I had my child say to me one time, she said, it's so awesome when I can look up in the stands. My daughter used to play soccer. I'm going to just a little shout out. She took state for volleyball back in California. But it was really interesting, and she said, it's so awesome that I can look up in the stands and you're always watching me. You're not on your phone like a lot of the other parents are and things like that, and you're 100% there. You have to batch things to be effective in those areas and to show up 100%. And a lot of times we don't batch. We're doing what's called multitasking, which is really ineffective, and we think we're being effective. And I have a study, and you guys can do this later if you want to. You don't have to do it right here. But it's a little test you can do for yourself. But see how fast you can count from 1 to 10, and then also see how fast you can do the alphabet from A to, I think, J. And then what I want you to do is I want you to do 1A, 2B, 3C as fast as you possibly can. We can count 1 to 10 in a heartbeat. We get it done fast, efficiently, and we're great. We can do the alphabet up to J. Usually you guys want to run on, though, I find that. It's like people are like, we got in a flow. But when you try to combine them together, we're very inefficient, and we break down, and we're like, wait, what number was I on? What letter was I on? And it just all of a sudden breaks down. So batching your things together, one, is to say, okay, this is when I'm a mom. This is when I'm a realtor. And then there's another piece in there, which is where does the batch overlap? And so there's some stuff that you do with your business where, yeah, I might be on the sidelines at a game, but at the sidelines at the game, like I've got all of these other parents and people I can connect with and relationships that I can just simply have a nice conversation with while we're there with the kids. And to find those overlapping points, those are golden areas because you're now effectively managing both areas that are important to you in your life. So I would really encourage you, find out how to batch your priorities together, and then find the overlaps, because the overlaps are really powerful.
Thank you.
Is that helpful? You sprinted to the microphone, were you?
I did. Hi, I'm Joan Good with Dickens Mitchener. My question is, as this industry is changing and pivoting, and there's a lot of disruptions, how would you keep the mindset for new agents focused on the business and not the noise?
Oh.
Great question.
Go for it.
I would say one of the things that new agents are looking for is like, how do I get business, right? And so that's their first thing. And so the noise is usually around do all these things to get business. You need to get on social media, you need to be a TikToker, you need to be on Instagram, you need to do these things. I would say, those things, and this is statistically proven, like the NAR said, okay, it was 1% of buyers and sellers found their agent through social media without any sort of connection last year. 1%, right? But we're told that social media is a must, right? Well, let's not say 1%. Another 1% found their agent through social media because they had a connection. So only 2% of home buyers and sellers are actually really looking at social media to connect with their agent. And they're, I don't think our clients are out there being like, oh man, look at that. Garrett posted another picture with him in front of a sold sign. Man, he's so cool. And the most important thing that we can do as a new agent is to focus on our database, focus on our people. Anything that can lead to a connection or a conversation is where we want to stay focused. And so from a distraction point of view, sometimes we've got to turn the other stuff off. I know, Garrett and I know several agents. The top agent in the Charlotte area, the top 5 agents in the Charlotte area have very minimal, if not any, social media presence, right? And so mirror the people who are truly successful, not who are seemingly successful. That's one of the ways, that's one thing I would say for a new agent.
Yeah, and I would jump in with new agents is that we get caught in the noise, we get caught in the whole thing. It takes how many months, how many years to sell your first real estate? 10 years now to sell no, it's 10 agents. Sorry. But it's an interesting thing that getting caught in all the noise that's out there. And I look at it, we did a whole podcast on fishing a while back, and I said, a really good fisherman doesn't just go down to the water and just start casting their line in over and over and over and over again and getting like, is there a fish? Nope, no fish. Is there a fish? Nope, no fish. And I think in new agents, they get so focused on, I got to find a piece of business, I got to find a piece of business. And sometimes when you're looking, I don't know if you've ever watched a child who's hunting for Easter eggs. There's always that one kid that's like, got another one. And there's the other kid who's going like if I can't find any eggs, why am I not finding any eggs? And then, of course, the other kid goes, got another one. And I have twins, so you just get to watch total breakdown and chaos. But what's interesting with that is that there are systems and there are strategies that they just need to be paying attention to. And so when you look at like fishing, it is just take a second. I think what a lot of new agents don't do is take a second and analyze the marketplace, look and see what's going on. Understand that human psychology and behavior patterns says they're going to need help with real estate. So you're in an industry already that lends itself to all you got to do is hang around people and be there, and they need to know the value you bring to the table. And guess what? They're going to need your help. That's just how this whole game works. So when you get a chance to fully understand the game, like a fisherman, a good one looks at the water, looks at the obstacles and things in the river, understands the fish hang out behind certain logs, certain rocks. It's just the way they do it. And then the good agents, you learn this over time. You're like, I'm not going to fish the whole river. I'm just going to cast over there because that's where the fish sit. And new agents just don't take enough time to do that up front. They're just trying to figure out how to be a real estate agent. And any new agent that comes to me, first thing I have them do is start analyzing, absorption rates, what inventory is looking like right now, what's happening, what's selling, what's not selling, how many homes are you getting into to analyze, what type of things are causing homes to sell for certain prices. Like, get in there, get your hands dirty, show up, and they're like, but I don't have any buyers to go look at homes. You can go do it. Like, go, get out there. And I think that's probably the biggest thing I would just focus on. Get your hands dirty, but also understand that these people are going to need your help. They're out there. Real estate happens no matter what. And it'll come to you, but you got to be in the game. You got to be out there.
Thank you.
Love that.
Thank you.
That makes me think about the winning mindset, actually. It's funny, when I started in real estate, my mom actually came with me, and I drove around all the listings. I wanted to go preview every property that our company had on the market, and that's how I spent a lot of my time, which made it a lot easier to drive around in this area that I grew up in. I've never been down this road, never been down this road. But then I got to learn the language of the business and properties and things like that. It was really helpful. But the winning mindset, what I want you to think about is you always want to be in love with winning, not just for yourself, but for everyone. And you guys are about ready to celebrate some awards, and there's going to be some people who win some things and some people who don't. Be excited for everyone who wins, because new agents typically look at people who are doing business and go, there's another deal that I don't get, just like the Easter egg.
They actually hope that somebody breaks a leg or something happens to them this year so they have a chance.
And if you're looking to win by other people failing or tearing other people down, you're telling the universe that you don't like winning. You don't like receiving these good things because you're not celebrating it for other people as well. And whether you're a new agent or a veteran agent, if you get really pumped, this is one reason why I love what we do, because I love seeing people win. It's like the coolest thing to me. I'm like, this is awesome. Like, this person to hit this goal, hit this goal, hit this goal. It's really exciting because it helps me reinforce, like, look at what is possible through all these amazing people. If it's possible for them, because we are all humans, right? We're all capable of similar things, that if it's possible for them, it's possible for me too. And the losing mindset is, I don't like that person's winning. Okay, great. You don't like winning. Let's dirty up some losses. That's typically what happens, right? There's a reason why a lot of sports teams, when they go on to win championships, they talk about how together the team was, how united they were, and not how we need to make sure the other team missed steps, but hey, we need to study this team because they're so good, they're so amazing, we can learn from them to be better. Right? The best athletes on the playing field are the ones that are competing against the best athletes. You guys are in a room with the best agents in Charlotte, and you can learn from each other, and you guys do. I love the conversations we heard before we even started, where people talking about how we collaborate. It's great to be in a place where there's other people who are doing great things. That's the lane mindset we want to keep, and for new agents, so important. If they maintain that mindset, they can achieve so much. It's a wonderful thing.
Matt, you talked about that winning team side of it, and I was thinking about sports, and it's interesting, if you really watch a sports team that is really thriving, when the backup quarterback has to go in to substitute for the star quarterback, you can watch the celebration of the backup quarterback, and you can watch the actual star quarterback celebrate the play, that whatever happens with that. Same thing with kickers, same thing with anybody. Really strong teams celebrate everybody having a chance to be a winner, and it's something that our world and our industry sometimes neglects and doesn't really lean into it enough, so it's a really important piece.
Yeah, maybe we have time for one more question.
Yeah. By the way, I love your jacket.
I wear it for a reason.
I love it.
Michael Murphy, Dickens Mitchener here in Charlotte. You guys have talked about being authentic and how the world's chaotic and everybody gets that. But is there one small thing to say, if you've remembered this, this is how you should talk to people? This is how to focus on being authentic with somebody, building that foundation going forward. Just some key takeaway, because it is a lot. And we do get bombarded with, oh, we've got to be Instagram ready and show this many and post this many times. And it's draining. Yeah. But to be authentic with somebody and have your clients remember that and want to come back to it. Any takeaways on how to do that?
I get to go first. I get to go first. Okay. Yeah, I would say number one is that we're a lot of times don't spend enough time getting to know the people that are in front of us. And part of being authentic is listening. And it's not about like, how well do they know me? I got to get them to know me. And I think that's a trap that we fall into. And this is where social media gets out of control, is how much can I get somebody to know who I am? And a lot of times what's really the thing that people are craving, and this is why the relationship and the referral side is getting so big right now is that if you take the time to get to know somebody, learn what their goals are, and then help them achieve their goals, they will naturally move towards you. Care and concern for people's needs is one of the number one things that people are attracted to. So instead of all these shiny objects out here, the more so you can stop, pick up the phone, and just ask questions and listen. And if you never get a question asked about you, a lot of people leave a conversation like that and they're like, but I never got a chance to add in about my trip and what I was doing, and it's okay, well, I'll talk to them again later. No, the gift was that you never talked about yourself. All you did was you ask about them. You learned about what they were trying to accomplish. And then the best thing is when you can circle back around later about what they were trying to do and acknowledge them or ask another question. How was that trip? How are your kids doing? How did this go? That caring concern makes people light up. And I've always told people, like, take as many opportunities in a day to help light up somebody's world. If you do that, the world will move towards you. It's 100%. People are craving it.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. I'll echo that too. I mean, Ed Milet talks about this every now and then on his podcast. Like whenever he goes and plays golf with somebody. Ed Milet is a pretty big. Anybody know who Ed Milet is? A few people. He's a pretty big dude. He's on his way to having a B on his.
He's big too. Just big. He's a big dude.
Yeah, he is. And he says whenever he goes and plays golf with somebody, he focuses exclusively on asking them questions and learning about them. And he said he finds that they have the best time. He'll leave and they'll never have asked him a question, learned anything about who he is. Like, who's that Ed Milet guy? And they love it. People love leaving a conversation where they got to talk about themselves. That's why Garrett and I started a podcast, because typically it's just him and me, right? But you just focus on them and ask questions, and that can help. I mean, is it going to still be hard? Yeah, it's going to be hard, right? But you don't have to have the perfect Instagram reel to attract people. You need to just focus on them. And when it comes to then the one-to-many content, right? Because it's like, well, but I still need to do marketing. Great. Is there value going out in that? That's it. Is there something valuable that if somebody receives this, they're like, huh, I learned something today, or I was entertained today, or I felt some sort of emotion, right? The 3 E's of marketing: education, entertainment, and emotion. Are we delivering that through our messages? And if we are, we're probably doing a great job on not only being authentic, but then also serving other people.
Love it. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, one more question.
We got one more. We have more time for one more question. Oh, we got people trying to prod people up. Yeah, you should do it. Go. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out how to word this. It's not a deep question at all, just more for fun. But I'm curious, the beardy answer. I'm a newer agent myself, and I wanted to ask you, I guess, hear from both of you, unless one of you just has the person side. But is there someone in your life, family member, client, friend, anyone who is not in real estate? Never think of being in real estate. I mean, they're very separated from real estate. They come to mind, and you're like, they would make the best agent, and why?
Yeah. So good. Well, so the question was, for those of you listening on the podcast, is there someone in your world, friend, client, whoever, who's not in real estate, who you think would be a great real estate agent, right? That's the question? Okay, can I ask a little, like, why ask the question? What's the...
I guess I'm just curious, as I get to know more agents myself and, find my personality within it, what sort of attributes do you find in agents that, are there any like standout personality traits or things that speak to you in a way that scream, this person would make a good agent?
So we're looking for the key characteristics of a successful agent, right? There isn't a special key characteristic, I will say. I mean, the typical answer in any sales is someone who is outgoing, right? Someone who is an extrovert, someone who's well connected, who finds it easy to talk to people. And I don't think that is the key thing. I'd say the one key thing, and this can be learned, this can be developed, and so sometimes we see this naturally in people, is someone who genuinely cares about other people. If that's where, because in real estate, we don't own a product that we're selling, right? Most salespeople own the product, or the company owns the product. You walk into a car dealership, if you don't buy the car, that's okay. They still have the car to sell, right? But in real estate, we're selling a service. So if somebody uses someone else, it's not like we can go and get that listing back again, right? And so the biggest attractors to people working with an agent is a level of trust, which comes through genuine care and concern. And everybody can sniff that out whenever you're in a situation talking to somebody. And so I'd say that's the number one thing, is if somebody who genuinely has care and concern, and that can be practiced. That can be learned. If you're like, I had an agent, this is funny. She's like, I don't like people. That's like,
But wait. By the way, that's more often than you want to know. That happens more often. Yeah.
and I said, well, I think you're in the wrong industry if you don't like people, because this is, and she's like, I've been doing this for 25 years. I said, great. I mean, maybe, I said, well, what do you love about this business? She's like, well, I love running the transaction because I know that I do a good job and I can help people through that. I said, okay, so you just don't like interacting with people. That's fine. But she did actually genuinely care about helping people get through a transaction. And her struggle was attracting business because she's like, I just don't like talking to people. I don't like doing that. It's uncomfortable for her. But once we got her to focus on, well, if you can just love this part, you'll do whatever you can to then do what you love. And so the care and concern is there. So it doesn't even matter if like you don't like people, because deep down we all like people. But I thought that was a really funny interaction.
I'm gonna jump on top of the whole idea of care and concern, which we've already kind of talked about and established here. But the other side of that is, and I would say that if I see the quality show up in somebody that can detach from the outcome, that can focus 100% on the person and the situation or the problem in front of them, but not get so attached to the outcome that if it doesn't work out, it destroys them. That is something that I think is needed in our industry. We get very, very, very attached to the outcome, and we lose sight of the person that we're trying to help sometimes. And so that would be a quality that if I saw that come up, I would probably push that to the industry. Usually when I'm coaching somebody that has that as a quality where they're like, the home didn't sell, they decided to rent it, but it's great because they're going to be able to rent the house, and we're going to help them with this, and they're going to refer me to their friends. They understand the bigger picture going on, but a lot of times when people all of a sudden lose a sale, somebody goes and uses somebody else, they're so attached to the outcome that they blow up a big chunk of their business just being mad. And it's like, you got to be able to let go. You got to know there's tons of people out here that need your help, and that ability of being able to let go, it's a unique quality if somebody can really just let it go. So that would be my advice, or like that would be the person I'd be like, the industry needs you. Come on.
Yeah.
Great question. Thank you.
And thank you, everybody who asked questions. This has been incredible. Thank you to Dickens Mitchener for hosting us today in the beautiful Duke Mansion. What a wonderful place. Let's give a round of applause to all the staff and everybody here for making an amazing thing. Garrett, why don't you?
Well, with that being said, we again want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you for inviting me across the United States to come and hang out with you for the morning. We appreciate all of you. Everybody who's tuning into the podcast right now, thank you for tuning in. If you ever want to have us come out and listen, talk to your office and be a part of your office, we would love to be able to do that also. Everybody here is going like, what do you mean? You're already here right now. It's a podcast. But I just want to say thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. You can find this on YouTube. You can find it on Spotify. You can find it on Apple. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for listening. Thanks to all of you.